In recent weeks, the Houthis, an Iran-affiliated Yemeni group, have launched a number of attacks in the Red Sea. These attacks have major implications, not just for the geopolitics of the region, but also broader maritime norms and security. The Houthis control a small strip of coastline which touches the Bab al-Mandab Strait, a 20-kilometer passageway into the Red Sea. This passageway provides a shortcut primarily for ships traveling from South Asia into Europe. More than 30% of global container traffic passes through the strait every single year. After the beginning of the recent Israeli operation on the Gaza Strip, the Houthis threatened and warned that they would strike down any Israeli ship or Israeli-affiliated ship in the Red Sea unless the war was stopped and humanitarian aid was let into Gaza. This was after a number of missiles which were fired from the Yemenis towards Israel that were easily intercepted. In mid-November, we saw that the Houthis acted upon their maritime threats, targeting the Galaxy Leader, footage of which they released via their channels. The ship was seized along with its crew. Since then, the Houthi attacks have forced shipping companies to review their trips through the Al-Mandab Strait. Many have diverted around the Cape of Good Hope in South Africa, adding 2 weeks to their journeys. And insurance premiums have rocketed. And many of the largest shipping companies in the world have ceased completely using the Red Sea for their journeys. And as a result of all of this, the economic cost on Israel has been great, with the Eliad port seeing an 85% reduction in its activity, according to a Reuters report from the 21st of December. Israel relies heavily on cargo transport in delivering goods to the country. 40% of all cargo that arrives in Israel passes through the Suez Canal, and about 99% of the goods arrive in Israel via sea. As the Al-Mandab Strait carries goods and oil, which is heading towards Europe in particular, the US found themselves under pressure to secure the channel. If they cannot do this, not only does it signal that they no longer have the ability to provide security, maritime security, and protect international trade, but it could also cause and motivate a European rebellion against the US's position with regards to Israel. High energy prices are already an issue in Europe, and this situation was not helped by the American-led war in Ukraine. There were fears that higher energy prices due to conflict in the Red Sea would most greatly increase European discontent at American foreign policy. In response, the US announced a coalition of about 9 countries to counter this threat in the Red Sea called Operation Prosperity Guardian, OPG. This coalition, which included countries like Spain and France, quickly fell apart though, as countries appeared not to commit to the coalition that the US might have liked. Spain, Italy, and France all refused to take part in the initiative. Similarly, Australia also refused to comply with the American request to send warships to the Red Sea. These incidents seem to demonstrate a growing US incapability to motivate global coalitions for its geopolitical objectives in the way it was able to, for instance, in bringing together the global coalition to support its operations in Afghanistan. At the turn of the new year, the US would step up its unilateral moves in the Red Sea, sinking 3 Houthi boats. The Yemeni group claimed that 10 of its fighters were killed in the attack. As Houthi spokespeople doubled down on their stance towards Israel, warning other nations from becoming involved, the Times broke the story that the US and the UK were considering striking numerous targets in Yemen to deal with the Houthi threat. Such strikes, though, would have to be sure and decisive. Anything else risks turning the region into an active war zone and threatening all shipping through the Red Sea, not just those related to Israel. Fighting in the Red Sea also seems to be much more difficult than some US channels appeared to have anticipated. It certainly seems like countries which initially entered into the Operation Prosperity Guardian coalition seem to be unwilling to endure the costs of a Red Sea conflict. The $20,000 Shamir drones used by the Houthis have the capability to do significant damage to ships in the Red Sea. And this is talking about ships that are commercial and otherwise. Whilst the defensive Aster-15 surface-to-air missiles from the French Languedoc frigate, for instance, cost $1 million each, there is a financial cost from a military perspective for the US to think of, as well as a market one. Since the story that the Times reported about the potential action that the US and the UK may take, the anticipated escalation has not happened, indicating that its release might have been a posturing move, intimidating Iran and the Houthis into backing down. Reports are that extensive negotiations between the UK, US and Tehran are taking place in diplomatic attempts by the special relationship to scale back Houthi operations, but the Yemeni outfit seems unlikely at this stage to budge. Much like the outcome of the war in Israel and the war in Ukraine, how America deals with this issue in the Red Sea will have wide-reaching implications on its positions in the world. For decades now, America has prided itself on being able to provide military assurances to various nations it enlists to do its bidding. Its ability to ensure global free trade is an essential feature of its leading role in the liberal international order. If an outfit of the minimal strength of the Houthis is able to have the US reeling, America's ability to provide security guarantees takes a permanent dent. And this may change the global geopolitical landscape for years to come.